Ryan Elliott for Boxing News. With me, the White Rhino, Dave Allen. Dave, been a good while. How are you, mate?
Very well, thank you, Ryan. Very well, thank you. Yeah.
That's good to hear. That's a return of the Doncaster De La Hoya. By the time this goes out, it'll be a month until fight night. Let's talk about it. Frazer Clarke. I'm sure you've had a good few offers over the last couple of years for fights like this. Why was this the right fight?
There's not been that many offers, mate. To be honest, I think when I came back in April 2021, so that's 2 years, nearly 30 months. I could count one hand, to be honest. The offers I've had. Got offered Fabio Wardley in April. Got offered Matt Madov last year. Um, I think I've got down. I think maybe I have three offers on the table in 2.5 years. So there was loads of times where I was just like, nah, I've had enough now, and just go do 9 to 5 and just have a nice family life, steady, quiet. But late last year, I just said, you know what, I'm gonna have one last go at it, and it's paid off. It's took its time though. You know, my medicals and licenses running out. Uh, my brain scan runs out in October, so I said if I don't get something for October, that'll be me done. But luckily, something's come up, and it's a big fight, and more importantly than big, it's winnable for me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
You said there about if it wasn't before October, you would have just called it a day. At this
Yeah,
point, is it just a fight by fight thing for you? Do you have a goal in mind? You just seen how things go?
I'm just loving boxing, to be honest. I think I've been in the gym consistently since October 22. Been training, I've been sparring, and I think I'm improving. You know, I didn't have the most amateur experience, and um, been sparring some good fighters, and they've given me some great feedback. And you know, I've got to translate that into the ring, into the big arena on the night. But if I do, you know, I've got a lot left, I think. So a lot of his mindset as well. A lot of people say that I'm finished and I'm done, but toughness is all ego, you know. And I like to think outside the ring. There's not much ego there. I'm quite a nice guy, but when the bell goes, I ain't fucking bowing down to no one. So I ain't lost that anyway. So people worrying that I'm not going to be as tough or not going to be as try as I used to, that ain't left me, and I don't think it ever will. So yeah, I'm really excited for it. I know it's a big fight, and more important, it's a big fight. I know I can win. You know, it's not a Luis Ortiz. You know, and it's not 3 weeks' notice. You know, they give me the notice I needed to prepare. So you know, no excuses, no complaints. You know, let's just go and see what's what.
With your experience, you mentioned that you've been in with the Luis Ortizes of this world, fights that you were given no chance to win. You've been there on the big stage where you were supposed to win as well. You're going as the underdog. You mentioned it there. People writing you off again. Do you enjoy being in that situation?
Yeah, you know what? It's great. There's no pressure at all. You know, I wouldn't want to be in Frazer Clarke's shoes right now. You know, he's just about to get going, and if he loses to me, I don't want to say career over, but you know, the trajectory that he's on, that's done, that's finished. You know, any ambitions of boxing for world titles, he can kiss goodbye to them. So he'll have the weight of the world on his shoulders, and for myself, I put a lot of pressure on myself because I every fight I go into, I want to win, and I try my best, and I fell short of saying the word expect there because I don't expect anything because boxing's hard. You know, it's a different kettle of fish with 20,000 people watching in the arena and stuff. So but while everyone's writing me off, I'm quite confident, to be honest. So um, I've still got pressure on me that I'm putting on myself and the people that are around me. We all expect me to win. So there is pressure, but nothing like what that man's got on his shoulders right now. You lose to Dave Allen, you know, it's over for him essentially. So yeah, it's nice to have the pressure all on him, you know. It's nice. Yeah, I'm just chilling me. I'm just doing my thing, training hard. You know, I'm coming in the best version of me. So he has to deal with that.
You are both the same age, but the big telling thing is professional experience. You've got so much more. I know he had the WSB and things like that, but how do you make that count? And what have you made of him as a pro as well?
Well, I've known Fraser since I was a teenager. You know, like I said, I'm 31 now. I've known him since I was 19. first met him in the ABA quarterfinals. You know, he boxed at super heavy. I was the heavyweight. I sparred him for many years. You know, we was both sparring partners for Anthony Joshua and Joe Joyce, and did many rounds together. I think he's an absolutely great bloke. You know, not there's no bad blood or animosity. You know, we've always gone well. I've always had a lot of respect for him. But he's not Anthony Joshua, and he's not Joe Joyce. He's a very good fighter, but for me, he falls short of being the top class. So I'm not. I wouldn't. If I was fighting Joe Joyce next, well, I wouldn't be fighting Joe Joyce next. I wouldn't be fighting Anthony Joshua next because I can't compete at that level. So I took this fight with the belief that I can win it. I sparred him many years ago, so for me that don't really count for much. And I've watched him, and people can say he looks slow and ponderous, and he don't look great. He's an Olympic bronze medalist. He just beat Marius Vac in a more comfortable fashion than Dillian did a few years ago. So I know it's a big ask, but I'm more than capable of beating him, in my opinion. You know, a lot of people will laugh at that. A lot of people will say I'm crazy, but but yeah, I know if the best version of me turns up and the best version of him turns up, I win. You know, but I genuinely believe that as well. But he has a better track record of turning up on the night when it counts. Hence his Olympic medal and me sat here with nothing. So I guess all will reveal itself in 4 weeks' time. But I'm very, very confident, to be honest.
In the last couple of years or so, since your retirement in late 2020, and then the off the radar fight since you've came back, you've been quiet. You're dad now. You've been enjoying family life. How has being a dad changed you, and how much have you kind of enjoyed being off grid in a way?
Yeah, it's been amazing. You know, obviously when I was boxing, especially when I was boxing Brown and Price, I was everywhere. I was doing every interview and every podcast and every whatever. I think it's the fourth interview I've done since the fight was announced. You know, could have done 100, but not really interested. If people keep saying the ambition might have gone, but if the ambition was gone, I wouldn't be doing any interviews. I'd be keeping quiet and I'd be doing my thing. Um, I've got a lot of pride, so I'm not doing interviews saying I fancy the job. If I don't fancy the job, you won't be hearing from me. I wouldn't be boxing. So having a kid just changed my life completely. You know, a lot of people, like I said, have a perception of me as a joker and all the rest of it. But I've always been quite intelligent. You know, you don't go from small all and not training very much to headlining the O2 without a degree of intelligence there. You know, you got to have a little bit to manufacture putting myself in the position that I did. So having a kid just changed my life completely. I've got another one on the way during November. Um, so life's never been better, really. And you know, this fight with Frazer Clarke for me is either a springboard to winning the British title, or it's probably the big last hurrah. You know, so it's just nice. I'm going to get that peace of mind that I do get that full training camp. You know, that I do get to come in 100%. And even though I've had 4 years out, I'll be 100%. So I will have it. I will know. I don't want to get to 50 and be like, what could I have done if I got in shape? You know, so at least we'll see one way or the other.
You mentioned having a second kid on the way. Congratulations, by the way, Dave. Is that something that's on your mind when you're training and you're in camp for a fight like this? I know some fighters like to try and separate things. Is it on your mind though?
Not really, mate. I don't think about anything. Um, I'm not really that person, you know. Maybe I should be, you know, but boxing is boxing. I've been doing it half my life. The biggest thing, the biggest motivational factor for me is I just want everyone to say, yeah, Dave Allen's a good fighter. I was in the gym today, some proper boxing people, the coach of the fights and sparring, and they say, "Oh, you're a brilliant boxer. You know, I was a really good amateur. And like, yeah, he's a good amateur. You're a really good fighter." But I want everyone to say that. You know, I want everyone to go, you know what, Dave Allen was a good fighter. That's it. I'm happy with that, mate, to be honest. I guess I'm craving that acceptance from. I've got the acceptance from world champions, mate, but I want it from everyone. I want to, you know what? Yeah, Dave Allen's good. I hate to see, he can't box. Dave Allen, he's useless. He's this and that, because you couldn't be further from the truth. And this is my chance to. The money's great. Having given my kids amazing, probably the number one thing. But that acceptance is something I need for me. But obviously, I spent a lot of my life doing everything for everyone else. This Frazer Clarke fight is for me. I want that acceptance from every boxing fan. And that's what this is all about, mate. To be honest, as sad as that probably sounds to some people, I crave that acceptance that I'm a good fighter, because I've been doing it all my life, and I know I am. I know I'm good. But I just want everyone. I want to be. The thing with boxing is you got to be really good for people to go, yeah, he's all right. And 99% of them don't really understand boxing. But I just wanted to go, yeah, he's good, and I can be happy.
The final one on the fight itself. I know you said if the best version of both of you turns up, you believe you win. But how do you picture the fight ending? Do you believe you end it inside the distance?
I genuinely think I can outbox him, and Frazer Clarke is probably one of probably 100 people on the planet that will hear what I'm saying and kind of laugh and understand, because I've only ever been tough and heavy-handed and stuff, but I can really box, and I'm not your typical stand-up, get behind your jab with my hands high, but I'm very clever, deceptively, really clever, and I can frustrate him. I can get him into the later rounds, and then we can see what he's all about. So I think to win this fight, probably gonna have to win it inside the distance. Yeah, but if I can outbox him for long enough periods to frustrate him, make him miss, get him worried and agitated, get him into the later rounds, then great. But if he wants to come and fight early on, then be my guest. But I don't particularly envisage it working out that way. It's going to be a slow breaking down process, and one that I really look forward to, and doing with some thought, and doing and just showing everyone what I'm really capable of. It's unfortunate that I've got myself together in my face Frazer Clarke, because he's someone I really admire and I have for a long time. But it's business, ain't it? He's doing it for what he's doing it for, and I'm doing what I'm doing it for. So, you're not going to catch me saying one bad word about him, but I do believe I beat him, and I think I will.
Away from yourself, Dave. I wanted to go back to the weekend. Terence Crawford, one of the best performances of the last decade. Superb performance to stop Errol Spence. Did you watch the fight?
I watched it since. I didn't watch it live because my days of being awake at that time are over. But Terence Crawford, I think he may be the best fighter since Sugar Ray Leonard, which I'm not sure how people will react to that. But I think he's the best since Ray Leonard. Yeah, he's outstanding. And beating people talk about Mayweather, but beating Errol Spence is better than beating Baldomir. And Mayweather's resume at welterweight and upwards wasn't amazing. I think Mayweather was the greatest super heavyweight of all time. Well, if we're talking welterweight and we're talking head to head at welterweight, you got to go Crawford. I think Crawford's exceptional. His timing, he can do either. He can box in either stance. He can walk his man down. He can outbox. He can beat you up with a jab. I just think he's a complete fighter. No, that's not. I'm not making comparisons to me over there. I'm just saying I think Crawford's complete, and I think he's the best fighter maybe the last 30, 35 years. But again, the same with Inoue, who is also an elite talent, one of the best I think we've seen for a long time. The only thing that can beat these two for me is size. That's the only thing that'll beat him. Charlo at light middleweight will be a massive ask for Crawford. I'd quite like to see Spence rematch at 154. I think Spence was done at the weight. That's not taking anything away from Crawford, but I think we'll see a different fighter at light middleweight. So boxing, we always moan about boxing. I think we moan about it because the current heavyweight division is a bit of a shambles. But if you heavyweight division aside, boxing's not been in a better place for a long time. In a way, Fulton and Crawford Spence in 5 days, mate, it's amazing. I watched Inoue on the Tuesday and I thought, mate, he's the best fighter on the planet by a mile. And then you watch Crawford and you're like, wow, I think he's better than Inoue. I'm not a big fan of pound for pound, but they're just unbelievable fighters. There's good fighters, then there's great fighters, and then there's your Crawfords and your Inoue's. It's obviously I spent half my life trying to become a good boxer, and then you watch these boys and you're like, this is unbelievable. Crawford, he's like a lot of them are great athletes. A lot of them are great boxers. Crawford's both. It's a proper sight to see.
A second, that was an absolutely fantastic week for boxing. Look, next weekend it's came around quick actually. Anthony Joshua, Dillian Whyte 2. Both men. Some people question whether this is the fight for us to see that spite in Anthony Joshua again. It'll be a different fight to the first fight. Obviously, both changed a lot, but what do you think we see?
I think Joshua wins. I think Joshua's fresher than Dillian Whyte. I see lots of talk that Joshua's got 200 miles on the clock, but the Usyk fights weren't punishing. They wasn't massively punishing. 12 rounds ain't easy at the best of times, but they weren't massively punishing. Ruiz and Klitschko aside, he's not really been in too many wars and took too much damage. Psychologically, probably affected more than physically. Whereas Dillian Whyte's been an absolute warrior for the last 10 years nearly. But I think Whyte's got more miles on the clock than Joshua. So I just think Joshua is just that little bit bigger and better. I'm going for the first fight, even though it's so long ago. I always go with the man that won the first fight. And Joshua, apart from getting caught in the second round, was well on top. So I think Joshua wins. I think he probably wins by stoppage. But I quite like the fight, I think Dillian Whyte deserves to, if he goes out with this, I think he deserves it, I see online people say he's this and that, but he's had an unbelievable career. He just fought the best back to back. So obviously I've boxed him in 20. I don't count myself as that, but I don't count myself in that, by the way, as the best back to back. I boxed him years ago, but he's had an unbelievable career. So I'm a fan of them both, because they both literally fight everyone. A lot of people say they'll fight anyone, but them two, more often than not, they're jumping with the best. So I hope it's a good fight. I'll be watching it. So I'm actually looking forward to it, to be honest.
Anthony Joshua with Derek James, second fight with Derek James. Now, a lot of people, we're talking about the miles on the clock. A lot of people have been suggested it's more like a psychological thing with Joshua, expecting maybe an explosive performance against Franklin. He won the fight well. Obviously, didn't get the stoppage, but do you think, I know they've both played it down, but an old rival like Dillian Whyte, an old British fight, do you think this is that kind of fight that we might see that spite?
I think first of all, I think Jermaine Franklin. How many heavyweights in the world do you think could get Jermaine Franklin out of there? I don't think there'd be many. He's not. I don't think Franklin's not the biggest puncher in the world or the biggest heavyweight, but he's exceptionally clever and tough. So the Joshua Franklin fight, I thought he looked all right. To be fair, you could see what he was working on. You could see he was physically bigger and stronger, and he wasn't really. People could say that he didn't have that same mean streak that he had years ago. But I don't think Joshua from 2016 or 17 would have got Franklin out of there, to be honest. And he probably got himself in more trouble in trying to do so. So I was quite impressed with his performance. This Derek James factor, there ain't no super trainers out there. People think they're going to go to Derek James and turn into Superman. It don't work like that. Derek James, obviously, he must be doing something right. He's had some good fighters and done a good job with Spence, but there ain't no super trainer, So Joshua is a physical freak. What unbelievable athlete. And won the Olympic gold medal, so he can box. He's always been able to box. I personally would go about things differently than he's going about with Derek James, being all patient and boxing. I don't think that suits him. I don't think he's ever going to be a brilliant boxer. I don't think he's built for that. Somewhere in between what he's doing now and the wrecking ball we had years ago. From me, that's what you need. But this whole super training thing does me head in. I don't like it. I'm a coach. I've got someone beating kids. Am I a great coach, or have I got good kids and they're just doing the right things and they're fit? So I don't know, but like I say with Joshua, he's really won me over lately. He just proves time and time again he wants to take the hard fights. So I can't knock him, and I hope him and Dillian Whyte is a really good fight, and yeah, and the winner goes on to some bigger things, and the loser probably got nowhere to go. But they both had great careers.
Usyk Dubois, we've been in camp with Oleksandr Usyk. Big ask for Daniel Dubois. What's his best chance of winning that fight?
I don't write him off completely. We've got a Usyk, 36-year-old Usyk. He's not an heavyweight. Like he's not. He's not a big man at all. He's an outstanding boxer, but he relies on movement and reflexes. And at 36-year-old, there's going to be a point where that's going to leave him. So look, I think Usyk wins. I think he outboxes Dubois. Dubois showed a lot of frailties, and Usyk hits hard enough to to um to put him away. But I don't rule Dubois out completely at all. I sparred Dubois, and Usyk might have wobbled me, but what I can tell you is Dubois is 10 times harder than him, and he's 10 times the physical presence that Usyk is. So I don't rule him out at all. The only thing with Dubois that worries me is that we've seen him with Lorena look like he was trying to find a way out and all to have the greatest chin. But if Dubois is Usyk, he will put him to sleep. To be honest, so I'm quite intrigued by it because I think it's interesting. Usyk's gonna have to be perfect for as long as Dubois is in there because Dubois can really punch. So people are saying Dubois shouldn't be in there with him, but Dubois can fight. So that's not what I'm looking forward to.
The final one on the heavyweight division. We wanted Fury Usyk. Obviously, Usyk's fighting Dubois. Tyson Fury's fighting Francis Ngannou. Not ideal, but big money for Tyson Fury. What have you made of the situation?
I was in the Daily Mail earlier saying that I want Tyson Fury stripping the WBC title for some reason. I did an interview. Now I don't I don't like the Ngannou fight, first of all, but secondly, I'll pay to watch it. It's one of them. I weren't particularly a fan of Tommy Fury Jake Paul, but I paid to watch it because I was intrigued by it. So I've known Tyson a long time. He's a mate of mine, and I don't begrudge anyone making a great living. Good luck to him. I'm not against it per se. Like I'm not knocking him for doing it because if someone offered me 50 million to watch Ngannou, there's a very good chance I'm going to be on the first flight over there. But should he be able to keep all the WBC title? He'd last defended against Chisora in December 22. He's not going to defend it until the summer of 24. So for me, that's not good for boxing. You know, title defense is what is the great thing about boxing. World title fights is the greatest thing in boxing for me. The WBC heavyweight title should be defended 2 or 3 times a year. It shouldn't be thrown to the side so they can make money, in my opinion. So for me, he should fight Ngannou, and the WBC title should be fought out. I don't know, maybe a Makhmudov Hrgovic, or I don't know, something like that. Tyson comes back when he wants to come back to boxing, then go and challenge for the title again. So I have nothing against him earning a great living. I have nothing against him doing a massive event. But for me, as a boxing fan, which I am, I'm a boxing fan before anything else. I want to see that World Heavyweight Championship defended, and that's why I love Alexander Usyk. He ain't messing about. As soon as that fight ain't what happening with Fury, he goes and defends against Dubois. He'll probably defend it again before the year's out. So yeah, I find it a bit disappointing that the title's not being defended. But in terms of Fury and Ngannou as a spectacle, it's massive. I'll pay for it, and it is what it is. But I just wish that the WBC title wasn't on the shelf for 18 months. Because that for me is not good for boxing. The WBC heavyweight title is probably the biggest prize in sport, and at the minute it's just sat on the side, being ignored, which I think is a shame.
All right, Dave, we'll leave it there. It's been great to catch up. Good luck with the rest of training camp. I'm sure we'll catch you nearer the fight.
Cheers, Ryan. Nice to see you, mate.